All right, hello everyone, and welcome to your new moon reading in Capricorn, and the first reading with the new webcam. So hopefully this is a lot more clear and the resolution is a lot of better quality. I am upgrading my game so that I can provide better videos for you folks and for those of you who are subscribed to me on YouTube and subscribe to me on or follow my Facebook group and follow my Facebook lives that I do there. Thank you for your presence and thank you for motivating me to improve for you folks. The new moon in Capricorn is going to be one that is focused a little bit on getting your ducks in a row. So unlike Virgo, where the organization is very extreme and very sort of hinging on perfection, Capricorns are not looking for perfect, but they do like to have everything in line. So determined and decisive and accurate Capricorn moon coming towards you on the 13th of January, like just after midnight for those of you on, well, just after midnight, like coming into 13th of January for those of you on the East Coast, so it's the end of the 12th of January on the West Coast, and I guess that would depend on where you are in the Southern Hemisphere as well over that time frame. And as usual, for those of you who are new, welcome, and I'm going to be doing a 4-card reading. I've started to put timestamps on these, so if you know this spiel, then you can just click the timestamp below and skip right to the reading. But I do a primary card on top. I do a 4-card reading and a primary card on top of the general energy of what's going on for this new moon and what may be happening in your life. I do a shadow card underneath, which is the energy that you just need another person or an outside source to bring up for you. It's not necessarily negative or bad. It just means that you may not be able to see it on your own, and that shadow aspect is being reflected out to you so that you can better understand it. And then I do a pathway read at the end, which is the energy on top that is keeping you stuck in whatever situation that it is that you're feeling like you can't really shift, whether it's personal, internal, familial, work-related, whatever it is. And then underneath will be your path card, which is the energy that you can embody and then you can take into this lunar phase to help create transformation for yourself and create change. As usual, I would love if you could like this video, share it with someone you think who needs it, subscribe to my channel, join the Facebook group on Facebook, the Indigo Instant Healing Matrix. For those of you who are in it already, you're going to know this because you're in it, and I do these readings in advance for the people who are in my Facebook group. I'm also offering a free reading for those of you who sign up for a written monthly written formula, like a sort of like an email letter. It's not really a newsletter, but it's sort of email letters monthly. And I'm going to be doing free readings for those of you who are interested in signing up for that. And I'll put the link below in the description box or in the comments in Facebook if you're part of that. Let's get to the reading. Okay. Okay, so there we go, just getting used to the new camera here. I think I can do that. Focus. So this is our primary card, our traveler card, and the energy that's coming through with this card is it's a bit of a stick in the mud, it's a bit of a like poke in the ribs and a bit of a challenge of, you know, there's irony that we can't travel right now, or you can, but it's complicated. And a lot of people are used to being able to be quite fluid in the way that they live their lives and fluid in the way that they move. And this energy and this card is asking you during this new moon phase, how can you find ways to be fluid and to change things up within your own life without doing those sort of big things or those big external things that you're used to? Like, people are used to feeling like they can socialize at a bar, or they're comfortable when they go out to a concert, or they go to a show, or they're entertained. How are there ways where you could create that same sort of fun or that same sort of relaxation without you seeking those external forces to get you there? So for the people who are used to traveling, how can you give yourself that sense of adventure or that sense of change or that sense of discovery while staying in the same path that you're in? Because so much of the energies and the cards and the messages that have been coming through in the past couple months especially have been, although it really feels tempting to throw whatever progress you've made away or sort of quit and change gears, it's more important now than ever that you stay where you are and you do the work, or you continue to do the work, or you continue to put the love in the passion project that you're working on, or you finish the book, or whatever it is. The ability to complete tasks and complete goals in the next sort of 6 months is really going to be resonant for those of you who are willing to do the hard work and stick with it. So see if you can bring some sort of laughter and sort of joke to the irony of this card, and take it as a challenge of, how can I find fluidity and change and excitement in my life with what I already have going for me? So that's our primary energy. This is our shadow card. And this one's going to be a bit more of a soft spot for people, because the energies that are coming through with this card are about, the text underneath says trust in the unknown, but more deeply, do you actually trust yourself? Like, whatever change you're trying to implement, or whatever goal you're going for, or whatever situation you're in that you wish you weren't anymore, do you actually trust yourself to change it? Or are you kind of just standing in the middle of this island that you've created for yourself, and you're hoping that things change, but you don't really think that you're going to be the one to do it? Because if we can bring attention, I suppose, to those feelings of, do I actually trust myself? And can I go within and question where that lack of trust might be coming from, or in what aspects do I not trust myself? Then we can begin to gather the bricks to rebuild that foundation of trust within ourselves. And that'll make moving forwards a lot easier for a lot of you. You know, a lot of people talk about trusting and then making the leap of faith. But if you don't really trust yourself at all on the inside, then you're not actually going to be able to make the leap fully. You might make it in like a small amount, or you kind of do this scary thing where you like go to jump and then you don't. But it's not actually going to give you the momentum you need to move forwards, because there's a part of you that genuinely thinks that you're not capable of doing it. And the people who, I know it's January and it's, transformation month of the world, where everybody has decided that they're going to make these massive changes. And I love the motivation behind it, and I love the concept of the fresh start. But there are bigger and sort of deeper things that you might need to at least bring awareness to before you can make those jumps, and to have that expectation of yourself to make those jumps. Because, if you've got a part of you that's sort of anchored to the ground, then you can't blame yourself when you don't make that leap when you really thought that you wanted to, or you still feel like you want to, but you can't for some reason. So be brave this lunar cycle, this new moon, and go within, even for 5 minutes of journaling, or lying on your bed and putting your hand over your heart, or whatever it is, and ask yourself whether you actually trust yourself to make these changes. And if you don't, then what are some steps that you can take to help get you there? So that is our primary read. And then for our pathway, okay, so this is what it looks like. We've got our block on top here, and then our path underneath. Double animal energy, which is pretty cool. When we get 2 animal cards like that, a lot of it has to do with instinctual movement, which is really cool. It means that it's less in your head and it's more just in your body and in your action and in your movement. So I'm just going to tune in here for a second for the spirit box. I think I just need to put it close enough so that it focuses. We'll work on autofocus on the next video. Okay, so this is kind of going off of the trust thing with Father Sky and with our shadow read. For those of you who have been taking the steps to make things happen in your life and to make those changes, or who have that sort of hope, which, generally for the people who read those, who follow these readings, it's going to be all of you, so don't count yourself out necessarily. But in the next couple of weeks, there might all of a sudden feel like there's a lot of change at once, and you might kind of be kicking yourself. There's a bit of an ironic vibe of this whole read, but you might kind of feel like you're kicking yourself a little bit because things were going really slowly beforehand for you, and now you feel like everything's sort of happening at once, and there's going to be this sense of, can I handle this? And can I manage this? It's too much. And the block that's coming up here is that you are perfectly capable of walking yourself through any fire that you find yourself within. And there's a saying that goes that the universe does not give you anything that you can't handle. And that is, in my belief, very true. I really do believe, there are extenuating circumstances, but day-to-day life and sort of events like that kind of come your way, I really don't think you receive until you're in a position to be able to handle them. So instead of sort of getting the sort of hot potato hands where you feel like you have too much and you feel like you're juggling, see if you can just take a deep breath as that sort of wave comes towards you, and pull a Capricorn and make a Capricorn move and plan and lay everything out and look at it logically and go, does this all make sense? Do I have enough space for this? Is this what I want? And, if you need to cut something where it doesn't fit, then by all means go for it. But I have a feeling that you're going to be able to handle much more than you expect of yourself as soon as you begin to, or I guess as soon as you stop telling yourself that you can't handle it. See if you can just remove that vocabulary of, I can't, it's too much, and see what happens. So that's your block. And interestingly, but not surprisingly, let's see. There's our little bit of a blurry wolf, but this card is primarily about solitude, and the path that is coming through right now and is being channeled through is that there might be some instances where you feel like you're constantly asking people for help and they're not available, or you feel like there's no one else really around you, and it's because the sort of changes that you're making and the steps that you're taking to move forward in these next phases are going to be almost entirely dependent on you. And that doesn't necessarily just mean, I have to do everything all by myself, but it means things like, I am responsible for caring for my needs, and I am responsible for taking rest when I need it, and I am responsible for making sure that I get the things that I need to finished before I help others. Because we're realizing that living in a world where we constantly put other people before us for a lack of worth within ourselves, it doesn't actually serve us sustainably, because we can't last in that way, and we can't be as resilient in that way. I'm just going to tune in for a second because there's something I wanted to say and I lost it. I guess just coming back to the instinctiveness of the two animal cards as well is, this concept of moving forward solo or taking care of things for yourself in the next cycle, in the next phase. It doesn't have to be as much of an emotional story as you may be used to telling yourself. If you take the story, or you take the sort of mental and emotional aspect out of it, and you rely on instinct and you rely on, what do I actually need, you might find that being alone or doing the things that you want to alone are serving you much more deeply than if you were to be doing them with friends, or you were to be doing them in a group, or you were to be relying on someone else to do them for you, which a lot of the times means we don't actually get what we wanted in the first place, because no one can know what we want as well as we do. So allowing yourself to lean into the sort of visceral instinct, the visceral instinct of what it means to be doing things for yourself, instead of how you feel it looks or how you feel you should be doing things based on, story, based on, well, everyone else is doing this with someone, or everyone else had someone to help them with this. Allow it to be more of a curiosity thing than a judgment thing, and see where you end up. So that is all I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed it, albeit it was a little bit muddled at points. I feel like I have a lot to say in this reading, but if you want to tune in on Tuesdays in my Facebook group at Indigo Instant Healing Matrix on Facebook, I do Facebook Lives, and we talk more in-depthly about kind of what's going on energetically and what we can do about it and what are tips and techniques, and I walk you through techniques. So, and you have the option to comment and to say hi and to ask me questions. So tune in there if you want kind of more depth. And otherwise, I hope this new moon serves you beautifully, and I hope you are having a beautiful beginning of this next lunar cycle, and be kind to yourselves, and I wish you all the best.